Jami-Lee Ross.
Mr Speaker, being lectured on job growth by Carol Beaumont and Darian Fenton is like being lectured by David Cunliffe on how to write a CV, because they have no idea about how bad the policies they're pushing would hurt workers. They have no idea about how successful the New Zealand economy is right now and how many New Zealanders are gaining jobs because of the policy settings that this government has put in place. Mr Speaker, I want to go on to that a bit further in my speech, but first I want to turn to Materia Ture's speech at the start of this session, because I have nothing but disdain for the Greens and their sanctimonious, duplicitous bile that comes from their mouths. Mr Speaker, they have the cheek to come into this House and claim that members on this side have some great conflict of interest, and even though they're democratically elected to this Parliament, that they cannot vote on a piece of legislation. Mr Speaker, I have never seen a Greenpeace submitter declare conflicts of interest in a select committee. I've never heard the Green Party declare conflicts of interest because they're associated with Greenpeace and other green organisations when they promote policies. I've never heard the Labour Party declare conflicts of interest, despite the fact that they have tens of thousands of dollars of union backing every election. Good on them, that's their right, but if the Green Party wanted to be consistent, if the Green Party actually believed in policy and principle, then they should be saying exactly the same thing about the Labour Party and about themselves as they've been saying about Sam Lotuenga and other members on this side. Sam Lotuenga stands up for his community. Sam Lotuenga stands up for job creation for his constituents. This government stands up for job creation for New Zealanders. The other side just wants to oppose everything that this government does to improve the case for New Zealanders. And Mr Speaker, I have absolute disdain for those Green Party members across the way. Mr Speaker, I want to turn to David Cunliffe a little bit as well. I'd like to refer to David Cunliffe as Dr Jekyll and Mr Cunliffe, because he says one thing on one side and he has absolutely the other message going out around the place. Mr Speaker, oil and gas has been touched on by a number of my colleagues. We have Mr Cunliffe talking about the fact that the Labour Party opposes a range of oil and gas exploration initiatives, despite the fact that it will create jobs for New Zealanders. Shane Jones goes out on the other side and says they support it. We have the Labour Party saying publicly that they repeal the Sky City legislation with their mates in the Green Party. But just behind the scenes, Mr Cunliffe's telling Sky City, no, they won't do anything there. We heard Mr Cunliffe talk about big, great plans for union membership and everything they're going to do to extend paid parental leave and increase the living wage. But then we talked to the media afterwards. He talked to the media afterwards and backtracked immediately. Mr Speaker, on regional growth just last week, Mr Cunliffe tried to paint a story of absolute destruction out there in the regions, but then the figures come out and he was absolutely wrong again. Mr Speaker, we've done a lot for jobs in New Zealand. And Mr Speaker, 65,000 people have jobs in this country because of the policies that we've put in place. Everything we try to do, they oppose. Let's take the 90-day trial, 13,000 extra jobs, the 1,000 jobs being created by the International Convention Centre, the 225 jobs through Bathurst Resources Escarpment Mine, and the thousands of jobs through the roads of national significance. If they really were serious, and you can wipe that smile off your face, Mr Farfoy, if they really were serious about their jobs, they would be supporting what we're trying to do. Let's remind the Labour Party of the economic climate that we inherited. We inherited a current account deficit of almost 9%. That's now at 4.3%. External debt had blown out to 84%. We've got that down now to 71% of GDP. Inflation was running at 5.1%. It's now at 1.4%. If anyone who's studied economics, even just for a few years, they would know that inflation is the biggest thing that harms workers. They would know that mortgage rates going high harms workers considerably too. And under this government, we've seen much improved economic climate. We've seen much improved economic figures. We're seeing jobs being created. We're growing faster than the average growth rate in the OECD. Those guys don't understand it. They actually don't care. The Green Party is duplicitous and sanctimonious, and the Labor Party should be disassociating with themselves with the Greens. That would do themselves a lot of favour, but they're not smart enough to do that.
Order. Brendan Horan.
Sir, I rise to speak on the great city that